Hi, good morning. Let's get playing. In meditation, there's a great many different kinds of techniques with a great many different results being desired. It's interesting to go to YouTube and to view a number of different practitioners who are sharing their techniques and to compare them. It's amazing, really. That being said, most, if not all, have in common an interest in cultivating a sense of one's physicality. And that's a good thing. I like that too. So, if you haven't already, please come into a comfortable posture that's undisturbed. And you know the reasons why. You want to be comfortable while we're sitting, and you don't want to be disturbed while we're focusing and concentrating on our activities. Well, that's a basic with every meditation technique, it seems. Next up is that people say, and breathe. And breathing long and slow with some degree of purpose is a means of cultivating a sense of peace. It's in our DNA, it's in our respiration, it's in the way our respiration affects our physical body. It's calming when you breathe long and slow and find a sense of peace. It's a natural phenomena. If we want to be hyperactive or jogging or running or a natural fear reaction, is our breathing becomes more rapid. We're taking in more oxygenated air to put into our bloodstream so that we can react. That's something that's been developed over millions of years, over our evolutionary cycle. Our DNA is programmed with this, one or the other. People are told to come into a comfortable posture, being undisturbed, and to breathe, maybe said or maybe unsaid, but the idea is that you're going to be mindful of your breathing and you're going to slow it down, lengthen it, and this is going to naturally create a sense of peace in the practitioner. So this is where the meditations begin to diverge. Most of them are going along a route that would then suggest that this is the purpose of our meditation, is to just relax and to be here now, to be calm, to focus on nothing that's going to be negative, but only on things that are going to help us increase or maintain our sense of peace. Mantras, gazing at a candle, thinking of spiritual, religious concepts. A lot of them are in this way. And then in a different direction is where one is being asked to be more mindful, not less mindful, such as integral meditation or mindful meditation. And this is, of course, what I practice, or we're practicing together here today. One better than the other? I think it's the individual that makes that decision. It's who am I to tell somebody else what they should do, right? So we leave it to everyone. And because we're all changing, maybe there's a time and a place for either or for both. It just depends. However, when we're practicing, we start the same way. We start with our comfortable posture. We find ourselves undisturbed in a location that we've determined, and we begin noticing even more of our physiology, our physicality. All three of these items we've just enumerated are a heightening of our awareness, of our being. Am I comfortable? Am I undisturbed? Am I focusing on my breath and calming myself? I would say most, if not all, of the meditations follow this basic path. We want to add into this equation, if you want to call it such, remembering one's pulse. Your heart is beating 90,000 times a day. So we take it for granted. It's ignored. But we're saying, no, don't. Don't ignore your being. Be mindful of your being. Oh, okay. And I'm saying you can be multitasking, that it's okay, because that's a human trait. You don't need to just concentrate on looking at a flame or in reciting a mantra. You can do more than one thing. They both, in a sense, are going to accomplish, when done successfully, the clearing of one's mind from extraneous thinking. Because in the one case, you're focusing on one particular thing, and on the other, you're focusing on a number of particular things. Both, in essence, are overwhelming or replacing whatever other things might be, let's say, distractions, your responsibilities, or whatever it is that one is thinking about that, in a sense, has a tinge of negativity to it, or a great deal of negativity to it. Either you're focusing on a single point, or you're focusing on a selection of different points in a multifaceted orientation. So I'm saying my preference is, at this point in my life, is that I want my self-improvement to be foremost in my meditation. I want to grow. I want to nourish my being, and suggest that this is also something that you're interested in. So simultaneously being aware of one's breathing, one's pulsing 90,000 times a day. We don't have to remember them all, of course. It's a lot. And then I'd say also remember and remind oneself about the thermal energy that one is radiating through these first two processes. We're making our warmth. We're creating this thermal energy by the action of our lungs and our heart. So now we have three things that we're simultaneously thinking about, or can. And then I add a fourth. If we are breathing and our heart is pulsing, and we are aware of the energy we are creating, these signify that there is even more going on, because there's more to us than just a set of lungs and a heart and the energy that they're creating, right? There's a transport system involved. We have arteries and veins that are moving this warmed arterial blood filled with oxygen through all the nooks and crannies and the crevices all around our bodies, from our chest down to the toes in our feet, to the ends of the fingers, to the tops of our heads, to our ears, our nose. Heat is being transferred all around, all the time. There's so much more than just these three concepts, these processes that are occurring. And what is that? Life. one's life's energy. What is one's life's energy? Equals, well, another equation, the sum total of what one is. What does that equal? Well, that equals 37 trillion cells. 37 trillion cells. When you're born, this is science saying these things. It's not me making them up. We're born with 1 trillion cells when we're born, when we've come from our mother's womb. When we are conceived, 1 cell, an egg being impregnated with a sperm. 1 cell in 9 months becomes 1 trillion cells. A trillion cells is 1,000 billion cells. It's a lot of cells, right? Now multiply that times 37. 37 trillion cells. When you're an adult, these cells are not motionless. They're alive. That's what it all means, right? All this activity is going on. And what does this mean? It means that there's a sense of motion. It's occurring in one's body. It is more subtle than one's breath, than one's pulse. And it is more subtle and ignored because of this. And this is the energy or the vibration or the shimmer of one's life force, of one's life's energy. I'm asking you to be aware of all 4 of these different processes I'm mentioning. Being aware of one's breath, simultaneously aware of one's pulse, simultaneously being aware of one's thermal energy creation. All 3 of these acting towards, in a subtle way, themselves, to help one elicit a sensitivity in one's own receptivity, acknowledging and accepting. Your whole body is dancing, celebrating, shimmering with life's energy and feeling it. Feeling this subtle energy that is shimmering inside of oneself, whom we are. A bundle of miracles is what we're talking about, with a history that spans over 3 billion years of evolution from the very first one-celled life forms that began on this planet till today. We are here now, bundles of miracles. It's as simple as that. If one, having reached this thought, this illumination or revelation or realization, looks as a witness upon themselves, objectively, without bias, without judgment, one begins to harness a sense of greater perception. One broadens one's understanding of what it means to be alive, a Homo sapien, humbled by the immensity of what we're coming into understanding. what we're perceiving inside of our individual unique selves to the visualization, imagination of creation itself. This encompassing all of everything with the possibility of other dimensions in an electromagnetic spectrum in which we, as science says, perceive 1/100,000th of what is. On what plane do extrasensory perceptions exist? Ghosts, spirits, etc. This is what we're talking about. And because of we having this humbling realization, a sense of gratitude and thankfulness begins to rise in one's own being. We are fortunate enough to be alive, to be aware, to be awakening in this incredible universe, this creation that is inconceivable in actuality. We're trying. That's the difference between one kind of meditation and another, conceivably. Mindful meditation is wanting to understand as much as one can. This is a good part of what it is, but it's not all of it. Because having all the knowledge in the world without an opportunity to improve oneself and to flow in one's day in a greater sense of awareness, perspective, would be belittling the potential that we have. So we add into this a question. How can I improve myself? In what way? By the acquisition of greater and more virtues, positive characteristics, and qualities that make us better human beings. Okay? The simplistic, restful, peaceful meditation is great, and it's a wonderful way for us to begin our own practice. But we want more. The beginning of the Aquarian age is very young, only 5,000 or 10,000 years of recorded history. Mankind, as we look around ourselves, and even inside of ourselves, there are a great many characteristics we can easily find that are distasteful. This is what we need to be working upon. We need to grow up. How many meditators do you hear talking like this when you go to the YouTube? How many are bringing up, we need to cultivate and improve? This is what we need to do in every way, ecologically, in violence, in how we teach, what we do day to day, what our principles are or are not, and what is our kinds of entertainment that we allow. What are we doing? Well, we each have our own opinions. I'll leave you to yours, but knowing that you are here listening to this in the first place, I know that we are more or less aligned. Food for thought. Have a wonderful day today. And be aware, be alert, be kind and understanding of oneself, as much as you are with everyone else. Be compassionate. Have empathy. Cultivate like a gardener planting seeds in one's own mind and heart for self-improvement. You know what you need. Plant and tend. You have 86,400 moments to succeed, to grow, to nourish, to flow, to glow with your self-realization, your illumination. You are a shining being of energy, glowing, literally glowing with energy. Namaste.